I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices, add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
All right, good morning. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. To you, the loyal ones. To you, the ones who support the platform. Viewers, subscribers, I am Man, and welcome to the show. Great day it is. We have life, and in spite of all our shortcomings and all our life challenges, we ever give thanks for life because we're living. Because we know that we could have been dead, but we are here. You understand me? I felt the piercings of bullets being in the trenches, but by the good grace of the Almighty, our lives have been preserved. And so we give thanks. And so I'd encourage you to do the same. Give thanks for life. And also to make your life count, you know? Don't allow the criticisms, the negativity to influence you in such a way that you don't fulfill your life purpose and dreams. I want you to understand that. Let me tell you this. You see, if you don't want to be criticized, be nothing, do nothing, and say nothing. And even if you do that, people will still criticize you. Life is important. I also want to encourage you. I remember when I was in university, back when I just started, how difficult it was. And I'll never forget that I had to sleep on some pallets at the 88 bus stop and sell newspaper. With one of my brethren, them call him Sucky from off of the banks. Probably them still do that out there. I remember my have an aunt, you know, upon the Whitehall who says, no. You can't do that no longer. We don't have it, but anything we need to do, we're going to help you to ensure that you don't do that. And I had an uncle, right? And he kind of reached out to somebody and they helped me to get a work so I could, sustain myself. And I always look at that and say to people, you know that there are some little things that you can do and that I can do to help somebody else to be better. Little things. So sometimes you can add value to people's life. You see a young youth going to school, you probably just need all one little textbook, for your $3,000, and you have disposable income. And if you buy that and give it to him, it helps him to pass a subject. So because of what I've been through, there's always a desire for me to give thanks for life and to help somebody have a better life. And so I encourage you, even in the smallest of things, find somebody today whose life you can make a difference in. Maybe it's a word of encouragement to do a good deed, but do something to make somebody's life better. People are tough to deal with, all of us. And so today you may help them, and tomorrow they may come back against you. But when your life is done and people speak, they speak about the good that you have done. All right? So I wanted to share that with you as we begin the show. Now, second thing I want to do, right? I know some of my subscribers who respect me reached out to me and they said, man, you should not have allowed yourself to be drawn out on the program that you were on last night. And I said, you know what, I agree. And so I offer my profuse apologies to my faithful and loyal subscribers and people who watch and support management and always find ways to encourage. But one thing is sure, those who watch me know I always say this: never take the text out of context, because then you're conning people. And we must seek to respect people's reputation and their character, even if we want to criticize them. No excuses, but we must endeavor to ensure that in our dialogue, we speak in context and don't take things out of context. All right? So we are going to move on because we have a couple of things. I don't know if you have not heard the JFF, Mr. Dennis Chung, recently in his media round in all the different, and all the different, anyways, I have a guest because I'm going to get to the guest first. There's a what they call it, a sexual harassment and whistleblower policy that I'm going to be talking about. But I have a guest that I want to speak to about a footballing thing. I'm trying to get different coaches to explain this. So I have one from Jamaica at 6:30 tonight, 6:30 Eastern time. We're going to have the former Trinidad and Tobago international, played in England, played in the States, played all over Europe. Scored on Jamaica several times. Stern John will be on the program tonight at 6:30, and we're going to discuss this with him to just get his idea. So you know this coach very well. He's operating in the capacity of a coach, don't know, or is a technical director. I was told that he's not a coach, so he asked me to ask a question the other day, and they were saying that he's not listed as a coach. So, but his name is Mr. Rudolph Speed anyway. So I don't even know what capacity he's. If he's a coach, a technical director, I don't even know, because I was told that the question was a trick question. Mr. Speed, good morning and good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, how are you, sir?
I am doing good. Please explain to us, because you have persons even aligned to Cavaliers saying that your position is not coach. So when I asked the question, how many games have you coached in the top flight, and the answer was given, they were saying that no, he has not coached so many games because his name is not on any match card as the coach of Cavalier. So can you explain that?
That's kind of crazy. Every match card, my name is on it. Plus, every match that Cavalier play, I'm the one you see standing. It'd be
Okay,
funny
right.
if I wasn't the coach. No, I'm the sporting director for the club, which Paul Christie stole my title. I have it down a Mount Pleasant. So, but I'm the first sporting director. But my duties is different from other sporting directors. But one of my duties, I'm the head coach too. So, but me have a lot of other coaches that coach us. So, and if they know football, it don't even matter if you are the head coach or not. If you are there with the technical staff throughout, say for instance a World Cup campaign, they still say you win a World Cup. as a
Okay.
technical person, as a coach. So it's just a misunderstanding, I suppose. Right. So all of those things, I was the person in charge of Cavalier. I'm still the person in charge of Cavalier coaching staff whenever I see we play.
All right.
I'm the
All right.
one.
So here's what I want you to do for me, because I'm going to just begin to explain. I want you to explain to the people what is the difference between formation and system. What is system? How that different from a football in culture and philosophy? What is it? I want you to explain that so we, the novices of football, can get a better understanding. And then I'll be back with you in like 30 seconds. So I want you to start because I'm listening. There'll be 30 seconds that you begin to answer that as I invite Unseen to come on as well. Go ahead, Mr. Speed.
Well, look here. A system, a formation is just how somebody actually set out. So, for instance, these are common term. You have a lot of formations. The most purist belief is only really four, and everybody else is a variation. So you have the 4-4-2 formation. You have the 4-3-3. You have the 5-3-2. So all the other formation kind of come from some of those. So for the 4-4-2 people, there's a lot of variations in formation. Of course, you have a little more formation. You have 5-3-5-2. You have 4-2-3-1. You have 4-4-1-1. It's really how the coach decide to set out his team in the first instance, people. So that's what they call a formation. And of course, every formation have them peculiarities and them some of them, them what do you call it? Them have them advantages and some of them have them disadvantages. So it's just a formation. There used to be like the WM formation in the past. There used to be, first time used to have people have the 2-3-5. That was a favorite formation when they used to use wingers and inside forward and center forward. Used to have 5 people up the top, 3 midfielder and 2 defender. Then them switch it back to 3-2-1. But the most unique, the most purest formation was when used to have villages play against the next village. So you'd have 2 villages 10 mile apart. They put the ball 5 mile in between them, and whosoever kick the ball in the next village win the match. So those are that. I don't know what formation you'd call that. So it's really just how you set up in the first instance. But when it comes to systems now, what you have to do is 2 things you have to take in consideration. What does the team do when they are in possession, and what does the team do when they are out of possession? Those are the 2 things that tell you what kind of systems they are playing. Now, the formation gives you some clues as to if the team is going to be attacking a lot, going to attack, defending, or trying to play on the counter attack. So it does give you some clues. But the real formation that the team play is what does the team do out of possession, how they set up when they're out of possession, and what does the team do when they are in possession. Because if you look at Manchester City, they start with a 4-3-3 formation, right? But when they attack, you can clearly see that they push up like a 5-man attacking. They put 2 man wide, 1 in the middle, and then they have 2 in the half spaces. That attack from there, like Kevin De Bruyne. So that is what they do when they are in possession, and then when they are out of position, they probably do something else. So I think that is the main difference between a formation and a particular system. Is really what the team do in possession and out of possession. Is the system that they play, and the formation is static. But a man could set up a formation, any one of these formation, and they do the same thing when they are in possession, and do the same thing when they're out of possession.
Okay, all right. So, welcome to the program, Coach Parchment, D license certified, learning some things, taking notes on these things. So now with national teams and club teams, it's a little bit different. So my second question is, especially at the youth level, do national teams have a system and fit players into it? Or when national teams have coaches, those coaches select players, have a formation that they want to play, and then based on the players that they have, they create a system of play And based on the tournament they're going to play in and the opponents are going to play, create a system of play that best suits the players, or do you set up a system of play regardless of all of those factors and regardless of who the players are?
Big up Rob Smith. No. So clubs and national teams are two different kettle of fish. I mean, you might not see the differences, but they are very much different in how they approach the football. For instance, a club with a lot of money, the, whatever is the coach's preferences, he can buy the players to suit a club. Whatever, at Cavalier, we have our preferences: fast, skillful, technically sound. So we have our preferences for a player, right? So and we can look through all the way through Jamaica and match up, get those players to play what we want to play. When it comes to countries, there's and if we can do that, just imagine what Manchester City and Man U and Chelsea and Liverpool can do, and Real Madrid and those people. They buy the best that they want to suit their system using the numbers and the eye test. But for countries, you literally have, you literally have a finite amount of players that you can choose from. So you couldn't just, I mean, it's not sensible for you to just come with a system and say, this is what I'm going to play, until you assess the type of players you have and the most effective ones. Then it is sensible for you to use a system that suits the type of player you are. So say you have a country team that don't have no skill, you're not a skillful players, right? But them willing to work hard because of the nature of the country, them willing to work hard, they're willing to defend stoutly. Maybe they're fast. Then you have to think about using a system that incorporate that type of playing. And there's a lot of various formations and systems that if you look at the player and assess them properly, analyze them properly, you will come up with the right formation and the right system to play.
Okay, Hansini, you have any question? Because I have a couple others coming up,
No, it's no question, man. You continue.
All right. So the other question now is, so as a coach, I have a preferred formation, which is, say, for example, 4-3-3. I play with a CDM, I play with a box to box and an attacking midfielder, right? And so, but that is the static formation of how I set up my team. So when I am attacking, however, all right, my two wide forwards come inside, that leaves a space for the wing backs, are the defensive right player and left player to go forward. One of my CDMs, they sit back, right, and then in the center, stays in the center. Then here is the other one. The other one, if attack is on the right side, he drifts to the right. So if there is, so that because that wing back would go forward, so he would cover. That is kind of how. I just kind of, going here. So that is how I set up the team to play within the formation that I have. But I'm going to play against Cavaliers, who is known to play with fast wingers. I still have the same formation, but for this I tell my wing backs to sit back because I don't want them to catch me on the counter. Is that part of your system of play?
No, so remember what I just explained before. What you have done there is exactly what I explained. You have decided to play in a particular way when you're out of possession.
Yeah.
You see? So it also out of position. Also, you say, listen, I am preparing you for when we're out of position wing back. So don't push up, stay wide and stay with the other two, stay in a back four, right? So you say out of position, that's how I want it to be. Then you're going to tell your forwards if they should press high, or you give them a trigger line and say, don't bother press, just drop back in your half. Right? So you see where you start out of position, and you might end up out of position in a situation where you tell two of your players, you have three midfielders, so them drop in a midfield. You tell your two wingers to drop beside the midfielder, so you end up a defend in a 4-5-1. You see where you do out of position, you defend in a 4-5-1 formation. You never start out like that, You start out in a 4-3-3, right? but you're defending a 4-5-1 formation. So that is why I was trying to make the difference between the formation and what you do when you're out of
the
position.
system of play, right? Because it's out of position and in position. But also, because what I'm trying to get is also depending on who you're playing. For example, when you go to this tournament, so you say, let's use our under 17, which is the most recent team being prepared for anything. You're going into a tournament. Hold on, I have to pause and say, happy 50th birthday to Coach Minzy from the coach's desk. He celebrates his birthday today. So happy 50th birthday, grandfather. Big up yourself. You understand? Joke, he's not 50. He's not 50. You understand me? But he's very
55,
close.
man.
He's closer to 50 than 10. But
Him on the right, him on the wrong side of 50 or the right side of 50.
I don't know that.
55.
He's a track and field coach, you know, so I figure that he's probably on the right side of 50.
Football coach, though.
There you go.
If him is just 50, as what Jason say, is just there, but him is on the wrong side of the perfect case.
I think what Jason is asking is if he's just 50, meaning that he thinks he's a little bit older. I think that is what Jason is trying to say.
So him should answer if him is on the wrong side of 50 or the right side. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know, Coach Beans, they don't want to know which side of 50 you're on. The
One
right
is
side.
on our question. One is one.
Yeah.
And the same thing, because I wanted to tie down this, but go ahead.
All right, so tie down here, because it's the same
Go ahead and
topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you remember, Sir Speed, one of the time, one is man a while ago, debate on some terms we use, like attacking your own half and attacking your opponent's half. So man is man were saying that, like, you know, I must say, what we are learning, you know? Why is it why change from build up play to attacking? You know, we might try to further it in our brain, but him can't. So explain to him.
No. Well, I tell you, you're not attacking in your own half. You're building the attack.
So make Sir Speed do things and then yes.
Go ahead, Mr.
We can come back to that, you know. You sure you don't want to finish your point?
Let me finish the point, because part of system and the system you play also sometimes I think has to do with the opponents you're going to play against.
Definitely.
So say you're going to play against a France, a Brazil, and an Argentina to qualify for a tournament. Just as hypothetically speaking, how you set your team to play in that tournament is different than if you're going to play against Costa Rica, Honduras, because their system and style of play is different. So what that will do, you'll have to create a system, which is what you're saying. A Pep, for example, can look at the teams around him for next season and buy particular players and plug them into that to play. With a national team, it's going to be very difficult at the youth level to
all
create.
levels, what is available.
Exactly, because it is dependent on the quality that is available and the tournament that is going to be played. And right, so but once you get the players that you tie down, your 30 players that you're going to use, you look at the tournament and you begin to teach them, here's what we're going to do out of position, and here's what we're going to do in position. I also believe that system cannot be consistent up to the national level. And here's my reason for that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. At 17, I may not be able to transition to the under 20. So the player that is coming in may have different skill set that may require me to play a different system, and I may also have different opponents. So because very few players globally transition from U20s from U17, U20s to senior teams. So if you started with 30 of them, by the time you get to U20, you probably have 15. And by the time you get to your senior team, you probably have 7. Right? And I think sometimes what we confuse with is the cultural language of football in a country and believe that is a system. So there's a cultural language, I believe, in Brazilian football, the samba style, that almost all Brazilian kids have that. We don't have a cultural language of football in Jamaica. What we do, we have speed, We are very aggressive, and those things can be added to how we want to play. But we don't have a culture like Brazil or
All right.
Argentina that most of them play a particular way. Go ahead.
All right. So, boy, you put whole heap of things now one talk, so it's difficult to ask them. So, every single system of play or every single formation, you have to kind of marry them doing it. You can't take one and leave the other. But what really happened is that there's something that is called the meta, most effective tactics available. Every system, there is another system that is most effective against the system where you come up with, right? What the difference between us and big countries is that we have 360 professional players. And if you follow some people, then say we have pure amateur players in our league. Mexico have 10,000 professional players. Now you see if you see the difference. What happened now is Mexico is able to pick their national team from 10,000 persons.
Yeah.
We have 360. Well, we want to go down to about 40 because that's what a lot of people want. So what happened there is that Mexico coach can easily come up with a game model because he's sifting through 10,000 persons to figure out who suits his game model best there because of their individual player characteristics. And don't fool yourself, you know. Football is a team game, but all over the pitch there are duels, 1-on-1, 1 versus 1, 2 versus 1, 2 versus 2. That's what happens in a football and the game itself, right? Those duels you have to try and win. So big countries are able to come up with game models easily, and that is why you will see Brazil with a game model, Spain with a game model, 1,000 pass.
Germany.
Yeah, them have this game model where them play religiously because them have the players, them have the population, them have the training with the coaches from a young age, all of those in place. If you notice the other not so sophisticated team like Morocco, they rely heavily on coming up with a formation, then design a system that they are comfortable playing. So that is why I say the world trend now, a lot of countries are very comfortable playing without the ball. Costa Rica won a match with 17% possession, you know? 17. I mean, so some people think that is unheard of for a team. Usually when a team have 17%, they score like 8 or 9. And they actually won a match. So what is more coming out now is people come up with a game model. If you saw Morocco, when they run out of their half, them start out with a 4. I think they started with 4-4-2. But then look at how they play when them out of position. Everybody back in their half. That is a system of defending, right? And of course, they have a different system of attacking where they might have 2 men running on the flank, 2 of the fastest player them have, and they might try to get somebody in the box from inside. So those were their systems. Very simple, but they didn't have the players to do anything else. So that's what they did. Now, I don't know if you want me to zero on another 17. Under 17 is such a difficult team to really figure out what they're going to do unless I think they need 2 years together to really be able to come up with a really good game model. About 2 years they need a team to train for together to come up with a good game model and can do it in themselves. And so those are some of the issues that you have with the under 17 team that is not prepared from that, from that long
Okay,
time.
so the solution to the youth program is the players who are going to play. If you could have them consistently up for a 2-year period,
Yeah,
that
that's
would be
my
because then you can create a system. But when you get
game
into
model. A game model. Use the word game model. We have to try to help you with the terminology. Game model.
Yeah. All right. And you want to take unseen question because I like what I think Rob said something earlier. Rob said, I think we have a culture, but it was coached out. I think he's saying we used to play with flair, street ball style, but our players were told that's not how you play. No, we are lost trying to be Spain. And then Jason says Spain is the 1,000 passes of death, like all of them Charlie.
Yeah, kill themselves. No, but I think Rob is onto something. I'm gonna tell you why. I have seen scrimmage in Jamaica still play. I remember I used to go up by Malinze Road and then used to play scrimmage on a Sunday in the mall. Trust me. that's like what if you're not skillful, you know, so you're going injured because people had to be able to defend themselves, turn on a penny. And then there were some uncanny players who could people would be in the scrimmage goal and block it up. I'm gonna shoot from 20 yards and I find the rattle and go in, you know. And I was saying, oh, did he do? You know? I mean, you must have remembered those times with people
Yeah.
in scrimmage, or them could have find your man stand up near the goal and man and beat them from all 20 yards with powerful, precise shots. And also, I always thought, I mean, around the box that you had a lot of players. Even in the scrimmage, you were able to see players invade them or use a series of crisp passing and penetrate. So I think he's onto something. I actually believe that's what we should do. Knock the ball, and play scrimmage near around the box. I think he's onto something. It's true. But what happens is that we lose that. I mean, every community in the past used to have one of those players where somebody carry them boots come to match. Whenever it's Major League or Super League or Premier League, you used to have a man, is a crowd, you say back at him. And you say, when him come, man I get salad, man I get pie. Yeah, I don't know if you remember those days, but it's really true. I think we coach out the Jamaican style a lot.
Yeah. And then big up Andrew 55, the Chelsea man says, from Rene Simoes use a back five to qualify us for the World Cup. No other Jamaican coach used the formation throughout a qualification. I think it's very difficult because part of this is then the availability of players. Because, for example, if you have a team that has, say you have a Demarai Gray, a Mikel Antonio, a Leon Bailey, you have a Ravel Morrison, all right? And at your centre back, you have Manningsman and Unseen and Mr. Speed. You don't want to play a back five.
No. But no, Manningsman, you have to stop it here. So you know why I stop you?
Yeah.
Jamaica don't have two centre back with that quality.
But that's what I'm getting to.
Stop the marauding some of those big teams.
But that is what I'm getting to.
There's safety in numbers, especially if you have three different centre backs. So, yeah, Rob said, Andrew. He meant to something, man. He meant to something.
No, but what I'm saying though is that because though Rene Simoes had a back five that was out of position, when we were attacking, Ricardo Gardner would go up the pitch and the other midfielder would come inside. So it really turned into a back three. So what you're saying is which is what I was getting to. Sometimes you
in possession would change up the formation.
Exactly.
I explained that before. In possession, the formation always change. In possession, you just stand up first and you put people in the positions as the formation to be able to do certain things. So you would put certain play with certain characteristics in certain formation, but your instructions, definitely is to do what they are supposed to do.
See, AQ is asking Rob Smith, when did Jamaica have flair and skill and play that way? Which years exactly?
Adrian, it was in Jamaica we played that way. Whenever we played that way overseas, it was in Jamaica we played that way. But what the person was saying is that maybe, we always had skillful players. If we could have harnessed it and incorporate it in our national team, it could be good. But the problem that you're having is that defenders are so much better these years. It's hard to even beat one defender, much less to beat 2 and 3. So that is where the problem comes.
Oh, hold on. I think Jamaicans are confused about a country's success due to their system. Current Spanish, Dutch, and Brazilian team don't play like their former teams and aren't as distinguishable, which is
everybody have to.
But football is evolving, so you have to change.
Yeah,
so
you have to evolve.
Brazil.
So we can go back to unseen thing.
Yeah.
So what is happening is that most countries, good countries, them get them terminology down pat. So when you say to a youth, say attacking from your own half or attacking at the opponent half, them understand what you're saying. So all of them understand. And it's also for Jamaica to get our terminology down pat, so we know exactly what everybody means. Because I believe that a lot of our players that go overseas, one of the problems that they're having is that when they go Europe, and Europe say we're unseen, say, so we attack from our own half. you want to call it build-up play. And that is why I tell you, say, English people don't play well in football because they have some terminology. We just not go with the rest of the world terminology. And if you not get to the terminology, it's hard to even teach people what to do. So attacking from your own half mean that you're in possession and you have the ball. Because you can't attack without having the ball. Right? So it means that you're in possession with the ball in your half. Of course, you try attack because
listen, Unseen.
So you have the ball in your position and you're attacking because you don't defend when you have the ball, you know. So but there's
no. Well, let me just say this. Having the ball don't mean I'm attacking.
True. But the whole purpose of when you have the ball in your possession, you're in possession
is to attack. But having the ball don't mean that I am attacking Unseen and Mr. Speed. Because hold on. Let me give you a perfect scenario.
Make it short.
Very short. I'm leading you by 1. I have the ball in my own half. Right? I am not seeking to attack. I'm seeking to possess the ball. I am not attacking in my own half. I'm possessing the ball because I'm not seeking to attack.
Right. But the man never say every time you have the ball, you seek to attack. Him say there is a terminology say attacking from your own.
Well, on Sir Speed, we're not gonna entertain Manny's man. We're trying to find a right. We get a right out of this because I'm wrong. You just explain.
No.
The man just let me finish explain.
If you were on the program, in beat me down wicked, everybody are following. So
there's a characteristics where you use. So say for instance, let me talk about City where everybody watching, you can go check it yourself. When they are attacking from their own half, when they get a back ball, you see them play the ball out from the back, right? They actually use 5 players, usually to stock some players in place, you know. Them try to stock at least 7 players in place. And that is why them possession games are good, because what they do, they just play the ball around and you think them playing aimlessly, right? But it's not true. What they are doing is trying to do what they call indirect play, and then try to set up for De Bruyne to get the ball somehow by knocking the ball all over the park. That's how them attack, and try to get De Bruyne the ball who can supply the finishing touch or the finishing pass with, because they know of his quality. So them, even when you see them knock the ball back and forth and cross them, all them are doing now is look for an opening.
Yeah, to get the team disorganized defensively.
Right. So when you attack from your own half, the easiest way if you attack from your own half is probably just play one long ball along the middle of the pitch if you open up, you know, right? Where you play that attacking ball from is in your half. So that is why it is coined attacking from your own half. If you say attack, so the characteristic different. So if attacking from the opponent half, the characteristic is different.
Thank you, TikTok. Mr. TikTok. Thank you very much.
No, but him learning something. No, it's all right. It's all right.
No, you're building.
But a counter attack is attacking from your own half. Come on, think about it. A counter attack is attacking from your own half.
Those are just some little semantics and nuances
in
the word.
No, counter attack.
Yes, it is. That is it. Because having what we were talking about, when I have the ball in my own half, for you to say I'm attacking from my own half is not really accurate.
No. I can say you're possessing the ball in your half. That's a different terminology, but it's not what we're talking about.
Or I'm building.
No. But when you just say you're not building neither, because you say you have knocked the ball in your half because you don't want to get no more goals. So you're not building nothing. You just have to keep the position of your half.
So when I have the ball,
it's a different term. Keep position of your half is a different term.
All right. So let me ask you this way. Am I wrong when I say I am not attacking from my own half? I'm building up in my own half.
Where you build up for them?
No, for attack. I'm building
Okay.
But I don't start attacking yet. I don't start.
You're still attacking. What's the purpose, man?
You move the ball.
No. Hold on. I'm going to banish this idea out of your minds. Easy. Let me tell you how. So my country name is Ching Hang. Your country name is Pang Wing. I am over here putting my cannons, my bullets, my soldiers together. Am I attacking you? No, I am not.
What are you doing?
I'm building my arsenal so that I can attack. I am not attacking you. I'm
To
building.
do what? You're building the arsenal to do what?
Building to attack.
Okay.
But you're saying I am attacking. I am saying that I'm building to
So you're not
attack.
gonna attack me? What's the purpose? What's the ultimate goal?
For building.
Anyway, all right.
Building. The ultimate goal for
The
building.
two terms are used in football. But let me explain something to you, man. You have people like, you have some really sophisticated coach. Them teach them team how to attack on their own half. Then teach them team how to attack in the opponent half. Then teach them team how to attack. Some of them break it down by thirds too, you know. They really, really top coach them, you know. And show you the difference of how you attack when you're there, you know.
Sir Speed. The next terminology. Defending their own half. And
Then
defending in the opponent's half.
Right. So the defending their opponent half is simple. When you try to win the ball in their half. And defend your own half when everybody drop back in your half, the whole 11 man,
Then
and say, all right, give up for them half, and me just stay on my half and defend.
Nobody was
No,
arguing.
you're not arguing with that. I'm just telling you the other
Then you're in a high press. Then
No, I'm
everybody
telling you the other two.
Yeah, you can call it high press, but it's not high press.
No, man.
It's not high press, it's a high press.
You start defending in the opponent's half. That's
There is a terminology.
That's
a
I'm
terminology.
just telling you the terminology, management. So
Yeah,
the same
defend
thing
your
now.
opponent half.
Attacking your own
But
half.
I know, management.
Yeah.
High press is a part of defending in the
Yeah,
opponent
man,
half,
no,
but
that-
it's not the whole thing.
Listen, the one issue we are having is this, because we're not talking about counter-attack. When you counter-attack, you have played a ball.
You're attacking from your own half.
You have
when you counter-attack.
Hold on now. When you counter-attack a team, you started your attack from your own half. So you
No,
play
you don't have. Hold on. But you don't have to start attack from your own half when you counter-attack. I'm just giving you an example of a...
No, man. I'm using that because we're talking about in your own half. That's why I'm using that.
Yeah.
All right? Having the ball in my half of the field, let me say it again. Having the ball in my half of the field, having the ball in my half of the field doesn't mean I am attacking in my own half. That is unseen issue. I have it.
I'm saying keeping possession is also a term. I don't have a problem you say me I keep possession. But the point is, you can't say attacking from your own half is not a term. It is a term, and it is very specific.
Yeah, so
Right,
that is it. That is the deal. Me and Coach me and Coach Minzy go on different school of football. We use different terms. We call it building attack. We call it build it. We're going to build our attack from our own half.
But no wrong if you say you're in a building.
Tell me say we're wrong. I hear tell me say
No, you want to tell me say we wrong, man, is man that you will rap it. Tell me say me wrong.
Unseen. The building phase, you see, includes a part of the next team half.
Repeat that.
The building phase it includes a part of the next team's half.
Right.
So that is why you can't say the building phase is exclusively to your own half, because the building phase is usually in the middle third. That's where you're building up.
All right.
You build in a part of the opponent half.
We're not going to get tied down to this, because there's a couple other important questions that I want to ask, because we have some other information about Jamaica under 17 play in Trinidad that we want to get into. But, and I know you have to run, Mr. Speed, so let me ask you this. Now, one of the other discussions is for the senior coach to have a role with the junior teams. So let me give you my position. None of the coaches from the junior team to the senior team have an ending time. Because their roles can change, it is not the coaches who do that. It is the technical director's responsibility. My reason for that is the national coach can leave in a couple of years or 4 years, and for him to basically be set in a way that he wants the under 17 or under 15 to play, so that when they come to the senior team, they'll be able to play that way. Not knowing that he will be the coach in 8 years' time is futile, because a next coach may come in. So the thing is that a technical director, like I said, must create modules. And then when the coaches come in, they can add to that. So the consistency lies with the technical director and not the head coaches. Because the next cycle, you may have a different under 15, under 17, under 20, and a senior coach. And the next cycle, it may change. And the next cycle, it may change. But the technical director tenure is normally longer, which gives him more time to institute it from the grassroots level. What do you say about that?
Right. So here what we say. Why we kind of doing our coaching education and we strict on it and trying to make change with it. It don't matter. The coaches have to be flexible. Now, when a man come and get a job and him sign a contract with the JFF to do something, we can't tell him how to get the job done. You know, we have to make sure our thing on him is that we're going to grade you if you get the job done by whatever method. Because we're buying experienced coach. Our job, the technical director job, is to make sure that all the players that we have, all the coaches that we have, learn and have one terminology I go right through. Teach the players to play in every scenario, whether you're in position or you're out of position. Learn to recognize all of these different moments of the game, which some people say is 4, some people say is 6. If you ask Pepe, more say at 10. So we need to teach the players them to recognize the moment. So when the coach come, so based on a player recognizing all the moment, it is easier for the coach to come up with a game model and say, this is a game model we're going to use based on, let me tell you, like, for instance, Leicester City. Why they won that year? They didn't play against the teams, you know. They play against the leagues. The league. Sir Alex used to do it too. He realized that if he play in a particular way, the league can't beat him. That is why he win. And it's the same thing Leicester City did and win the Premier League. The league can't beat our coaches. What is important for you to recognize is to recognize how you can play and beat your opponents. So like CONCACAF, we know CONCACAF have whole heap of weakness. One of them is that the midfielders them static. So if you come up with a system that can beat all your opponents, because when we look at all of the different confederations, we know all of them weakness and all of them strengths. So you have to come up with a system, a game model that naturally give you an advantage over your opponents. And that is what you need to do. So for the technical director to tell the coach they must play so, no, he can't do that. What he must do is provide the environment that anything the coach chooses to do, the players and the coaches are versed on it already from them at a young age.
And that is at the senior level?
No.
Or at all levels?
All level. We need to get the young stuff and know everything. So those terminology here we talk, we want every coach to learn them and pass it down to the players. So when the coach comes from Europe and use the same terminology, you know the issues. Everybody know what to do.
So that means your under 17, under 20, and senior team may not play the same system, but they learn the same principles. In other words, they all learn the same attacking principles and defensive principles, but how they apply the system of play in their own age group by a particular coach could be different. For example, you could say, just run down the line and square it. Then a next coach could say, we're going to pass in.
Cross.
Yeah, right.
Don't use that word, square. There's no such word. You see my point, unseen. We have to teach him on the
Yeah. I try to upgrade him thing, but him not upgrade.
There is a square pass on the field. A square pass is different from a diagonal. There is a square pass.
I'm going to make you realize it.
Unseen. Don't make your mind. Do not let your mind get fuzzy. All right. So the point I'm making is that one coach may want the team to attack down the middle, but the attacking principles don't change and the defensive principles don't change, which is what you're saying. All coaches need to learn the same principles so that all the players can learn the same principles, but that doesn't mean that all the different age group teams, because somehow people believe like the head coach must have the senior coach must have an integral role in the under 17 and under 20s, which is not necessarily so because many of the players are not going to transition.
No. The difference between a head coach of a senior team and a head coach of of junior teams. It's contrasting now. A head coach of a senior team, see the players, if you're lucky, 9 times 3 or 9 times 4. If you're lucky, 25 days for the year, right? So his job, a lot of his job is management, more than, him can't coach technical things, teach our players at the senior team to control and pass and kick and head and whatever. So him have to, when them come, him have to reinforce the game model where he might try impart on them. Because remember, when they go back to their club, it's something totally different might obtain there. So when they come to him, it's not, the preparation is much different from a youth team who the coach going to have for weeks and months to try and ask them to do certain things.
Yeah.
So what makes it successful is that senior team coach will have players that know all the terminology and know all of the different things to do in the different occasions because they are coaching at such high level. And that is why we have a problem when we have players from a conference league in England and a Premier League. You can see the difference between what they know, the knowledge level. And that is why even we still struggle with the players who play local and the players who play overseas, because the difference is so great with their knowledge. So people are saying we need to synchronize. Yes, we need to synchronize. But the truth is the knowledge level is so different that I've been into meetings with people who are managing director, and then like 2 of us start talking about finance. And you can see the managing director, them eyes are go like so, and I wonder what we are talking about because we understand the terminology and everything. And it's the same thing with football. If people don't understand the terminology, or they're not synchronized, or they're on different level of learning, it's just difficult to blend the team. And that is one of the problems that Jamaica have with qualifying the team, because I've seen Mikel Antonio come here and people say, after him can't play him, look ordinary. Yes, because when him see a ball in a certain situation like club, he might think say, this is how me I go do out of possession. Or he might think say, these are the runs me I make when we're in a possession. So the other person who play at a much lower level don't even have a clue what he's trying to do. And that is why you have this whole division. And that is why people say, look here, we need to come together and even other team building efforts than just playing. So people can start to understand each other, understand one thing, they talk among each other. And it's so you get a team that will click and able to do better for Jamaica. It's not because
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, Andre.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Are we saying that the terminology or understanding the terminology in a different place, are we equating that to the education level of the player in terms of his footballing ability and his knowledge of the game? So, for example,
knowledge of the game, his ability usually is not like, I've seen my Jamaican players, them control it impeccable. I know that they can control the ball technically, but what they do with the use of the ball when they're in possession and where they are in possession or out of possession, that is where the difference is. Big difference.
That answers the question, Andre.
What I was hearing is that, like, for example, you all use the difference between crossing and squaring the ball back. You all use that difference just now, right? And that led me to think that and then the conversation went on.
What Unseen, hold on, Andre, because that's a very good point. Because what Mr. Speed and Unseen is saying to me is that if I say, yo, cross the ball, no man, probably like a square the ball, no man, Mikel Antonio is not going to know what I mean because he's using to crossing the ball. I don't know if that. I don't know if that is going to affect anything. I don't know if that's what you said, Andre. But
it's okay. So in the space that I'm in, when you do the coaching education here, there's something that's called a roadmap. I don't know if it exists in the Caribbean, and that's a specific set of terminologies that is used in different moments of the game. Okay, whether you're in attack, you're defending, you're in transition, in both directions, in different areas of the pitch. So you can be more specific when you work with the players. But then there's also the opportunity to have your own terminology
in your space so that the
Yeah.
player in your space could understand. But when the player leave your space and go into a national program, at least he have an idea of what the terminology means. Right? But
Yeah.
knowing the terminology and being knowledgeable of the game,
It's two different things.
yeah, I see that as two different things.
Yeah, yeah. And because that makes sense. Because if you understand the terminology, but like Mr. Speed was alluding to earlier, if when Mikel Antonio see the ball in a particular place, he knows as a center forward, when the ball is there, this is where I'm supposed to be. But if the player who has the ball is not at that football and IQ level, then Mikel Antonio is going to be seen like he was in a wrong position to receive the pass.
But
When
isn't
really,
that down to the game model of the coach? So if the coach brings in a group of players, he has to produce the team principles, the small group principles, and the individual principles, right? So everybody knows, everybody's on the same page, right? Isn't that what the game model is about?
Right. So the point I was making is like, what if they don't even have a common terminology? So for instance, you go to a training and the coach said, today we're doing transition to attack. So some people know what that is, some people don't know what that is. So the problem, so right away you have a disjointed in that training. But if you have time, you could be able to fix it and make people understand. But if you have national players senior players that you only see for 2 days before the game, you can see where, and if you're at different levels, you can see where the problem is going to start to occur, because it's just 2 days before the game, and you're trying to get the results. So that is what I'm saying. Until we lift up our level of coaching and all the players understand the different moments of the game from at a young age, we're always going to struggle until we get everybody on the same page. That's the point I was trying to make.
And
But if people were playing for, you see, like why Spain don't have the problem, because people play for Real Madrid and Barcelona. Say 90% of the team come from those two clubs. It's easier for a coach to gel them than a coach who have one from West Ham, one from Tier 1, one from Championship, 3 from USL, some from JPL, some from some other league. And that is why the teams that are the players are from one country, you see them do a little bit better with all of those things, because they understand each other, understand terminology. They play at roughly the same level. They don't have players from a top tier here all the way down to a fifth tier to kind of put together, because the coaching is different. Even the coach doesn't know as much as the other coach up at the top level. And those are some of the real issues that Jamaica has to perform consistently.
so how important it is, like even with this system, because you made a very valid point. With the youth teams, you can have the youth together. Ideally, you said for like so maybe we have after this, there's a next under 17 coming up. Ideally, it would be good to start like today, preparing youths now, which would give you 2 years for the next under 17 cycle. Ideally, because that would give you enough time, like you're saying, to create the game module for them to play. You're working with them. All right? Get that. How can that be done at the national level? Does it mean having a core of players that play most of the games for an extended period of time, so when they get to the qualifiers, they at least have some general understanding, or you can't create a core because people are always getting better at, like, how does it work?
So you're right. So you see that you got it right, and it's a combination of both. But the biggest thing that we need to do is not to prepare 30 players for that assignment, because players at 15 could be a much different player at 16 or 17. But the whole country has to be able to educate that mass of players in the under 15 age group that know is almost on the same level. So what you want to do is, say for instance, you decide you're going to pick a set of under 15s now. and then go and start out, right? Okay, they are the pioneer. So what you want to have like competition at under 15 this year is because, and then ensure that the person who's coaching them, which should be a B license coach for elite youths, that's the lowest, who is coaching
B
them.
license or higher.
BRI for elite
Yeah.
youth. Elite youths, B license is good enough because they teach them a lot of stuff. So, but if you have anybody less than that, preparing these youths, you're going to run into trouble.
Oh, so
Because-
mean if Unseen was coaching them.
right, you still are running into trouble, right? So, so it would be ideal, but sometimes we don't have those, right? But it would be ideal if you have at least a level of B license coaching the youths from that age. Once they call themselves elite youths, which they are elite youths, and then all of those people who is playing in that competition, so you have 14 teams of 30, all of them should have the same learning, the same type of understanding when to play in the moments. Some people say it's 4 moments, some people say 6, some people say it's 10. I'm just saying if they learn how to play in all of these moments, then the national coach now would have these players always growing. So in just pick out 30 and then the rest stagnate, always growing. You're playing a competition under 15, you come back in under 16, you play again in a competition. Watch your players, give them the amount of training time to develop and the game time. Then I think you'll be able to pick a real good under 17 team when you're ready to go to launch or to try and qualify for the World Cup. So that is how I'm seeing it. Now the player who is in Europe and the players who is in America, we need to somehow get the terminology right so they don't struggle when they come here either. But we know that if the player is in an Arsenal setup or a Man U or a Man City, we know that their education is comparative or better than ours. You see, right away, you are assured. So, yes, you might have a player who says he plays in the academy. And by the way, academy don't have to win anything. Nobody get fired. Usually it's the owner own the academy. And nobody get fired. So they don't have to win anything, then don't have to do anything. But the player can have talent, but then don't teach them certain things. But you have to start saying in your mind now where we must choose players from to play for the national team. I mean, when you're going to you carry those to equate themselves with the ones that you have locally. What we found is that even although Jamaica's standard is so low in terms of our Premier League, what we found, even when you use a pure local squad with the right tactic and the right game plan, they seems to do well. Like the draw match when we went to Africa.
Cameroon.
Yeah, they did extremely well to draw that game. So there's a factor when the player, no, I want to use a word that people don't read me wrong. There's a factor when the player have all of these interests because those players actually want to perform well so they can be looked at to get a contract.
But is it also the quality of the coach as well? Does
Definitely.
the quality? Okay.
Definitely. And also the tactic that you employ. So for instance, when we go play Peru and we say we are high press Peru. Yeah, we get 6 love. We play Catalona, we say we are high press Catalona. We get 6 love. We don't play Argentina, who's a better team than all those two teams. Yeah, we lose 3-0. But you can see overall, you can see the organization, you can see everybody are try play with what you call the meta, the most effective tactics against Argentina. Couldn't be to high press or defending the opponent half. It must be a defender your own half, block up the spaces and pick up any scraps they can get because the team clearly superior to you. So I'm just saying that then, you see, the coach was able to say, listen, this is what we're going to do because he knew what Argentina was coming with. He was able to say the same thing because he knew what Cameroon was coming with. And he was able to communicate in a language that we understood how to put up resistance, right? Because that is what it's all about. And,
so at the senior level, I don't know if any listen, thanks to everyone in the comment section. Good video. Remember to hit the like button if you're watching. We're going to try to answer as many of your questions. So ideally, like I said earlier, which is what Rob Smith is saying, and then I think Jason have a comment after that is I would say top level and the lower levels, right? So let's use those two terms just so that we can get everything kind of clear because these people give problems. So we should try to select as best. If we're going to England, for example, ideally we want to get the players firstly. What unseen of tactical board the man I try show we and him whiteboard marker. Show them on them not unseen, man. Just show them on them what go on. You're muted, man. Show them what go on. You're muted. Unmute and show the people them what you have over there, man.
One is, man, we upgrade from the YouTube coach, you know. I try make you upgrade to be an upgrade.
So what you have in your hand there? Tactical board?
Oh, that's a board.
Oh, without what you going with unseen? Big coach?
Yeah,
man, just put in the key player and contain in midfield.
Yes, it's not a poor comparison. What I was comparing, Case, was a tactic, the method that we employed, that the tactic that we thought was the best. We decided to high press Peru. If we high press Peru with if we high press Argentina with overseas based players, I think the result would have been the same. We'll get 5 or 6. So that is the tactic I was trying to
speak to. Yeah, most effective
tactic available. Yeah, that was the most effective one against Peru, whether it's a local or overseas based player. Yeah. I don't know if Jamaican player know how to.
So one thing we need to sort out then is the quality of the player and the quality of the coach. And what you were suggesting earlier is that if you get players, the fall off from like the Premier League in England to the JPL is so far that ideally, if you have more players from the Premier League, it becomes easier in terms of deploying or employing higher level tactics to get better results, because the footballing IQ at those levels are higher than at the, like you said, and you said the same thing with if a player is at Arsenal Academy or a Manchester City Academy playing regularly, then they're either going to be comparative or higher than the player here, just because of the level that they're at. So ideally, we need to get the players playing at the highest level and have the highest level qualified coach coaching those players.
We need to build our levels here.
Yeah.
Quickly. So that, but what the point I was making is that the local players seems to perform a little based on our league, right? Whenever we carry local, I've seen local teams beat teams overseas, you know, right? Remember when Tapa carry one local team got a Gold Cup, basically local players, where would it go? I think we go semi-final, or did we go final?
We went finals.
Right. So people would say, how is that team reaching finals and it's mostly local talent? The reason was local players, even although them IQ, them football levels might not be as high as some of the other teams, there is a case for them because they approach a game a little bit different, a lot more effort, trying to look at contract. So I'm saying that yes, you can blend them, but what you need is like a top level coach who understands team building and can blend both worlds, because you can't have a successful team without having locals in there. It's not going to happen. You have to have some sort of local sprinkling in whatever team you have.
So I'm hearing two conversations that kind of blend into each other. In one sense, we are saying that, and I'm going to use the Caribbean as opposed to being specific to any one island. We are saying that the players in the islands, or you use Jamaica, so let's use Jamaica. The players in Jamaica is comparable to the players if a player is at Arsenal, for example. In one conversation, I'm hearing that they are
technically.
All right, and then in the next conversation, I'm hearing that we need to build our level.
Yes.
Right, and those two things seems to be opposing.
No. Let me explain. There is technical skills, which is the passing, the heading, the shooting, the kicking, the controlling, the dribbling, the conducting, the winning of duels.
Right.
That's technical. I'm saying that is a level where I don't see much difference. I've seen Jamaican players control the ball better than a lot of players in the top flight. Them control. And Nicholas Hamilton, any distance, 60, 70 yards, dead. Richard King, dead. Any distance that come from control him have it pat. I am saying where we're not up to standard is the other part, where the tactical part, what you're doing in possession. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think
so before you say that, so there's the other piece of it, right? Because it was mentioned earlier, the kids coming from America. So understanding the market, the kids coming from America, there's different levels here. And sometimes we see in the Caribbean, we call kids that are playing at a lower level, right? Which their experience is different. Their coach could be whoever versus who's playing at the highest level, at the MLS level, because it goes MLS, next ECNL. So obviously they would have a different experience, right? The environment would be different. The knowledge base could be different. So when we look at the American players, are we talking in general across the board, or are we talking about players who are playing at the highest level in America at an academy team, at MLS team? Actually.
I don't know if academy teams are the highest level. I would say the
MLS.
teams, the MLS,
MLS
academies, I would accept that their standard is high, you know. But you see somebody
you see that
here
with some hesitance.
yeah. No. The wicked man Brad Pierce. He just make another example here. German U. His control is impeccable. I mean, it's almost uncanny what he could do with a ball. I mean, you have other people like Baller Vibes, the same thing. Them say footballers a fool, them use football and do anything. So I'm saying Jamaican have those skills. The duel, which is so important in a foot race, you know, trying to win a header, Jamaican would be comparative to anybody in the world if you put them in a foot race. So there are skills that we can compete with. What we're talking about is the education of the players, because we just don't have enough good coaches to educate. I'm not saying some players, I'm saying all players, so we can choose from a big pool of players to play internationally. We don't. And the education of the players far superior to us overseas, even although they might not have the technical skill that our players have. But
so let me ask. So we talk about the technical skill, we talk about the game IQ. How do you compare the players on whether it's Jamaica or anywhere else in the Caribbean, Trinidad or anywhere else, the mental structure of the player? How do we compare when we talk about the mindset of the player, the mentality, whether the player have a winning mentality or not, the resilience of the player, how they deal with adversity, right? The ability of the player to learn, okay? And what is important in a lot of spaces, just being a good teammate, that we can talk about a dozen things to be that. So how do you compare the players in the region to the players that come from overseas in that regard? The mental.
So for instance, talent is both physical and mental. I mean, so everybody talk about the 5 C's for players. The 5C, we talk about the 5C for players, right? Which is commitment, you know, communication, control, confidence. I don't remember what next one is.
Concentration.
And concentration. All of these things can be taught, but you can't teach what you don't know. How many coaches know that you can make up a drill that can actually teach these 5 things, which now will complement the physical skill that you have to make you such a much better player.
Right.
So this is but a lot of other coaches in other territories know these things, and they can incorporate these in their training when they are coaching. So even a player who have the same skill but me have better mental skill than you, I'm going to perform better than you, because I'm going to be laser focused on, you know, concentration, right? Yeah. Or I can concentrate more than you. I don't make mistakes that you make. Just that skill alone,
right?
And have the same technical skill, I'm a much better player. So those are the things that I'm in control. You're in control your environment, control your situation, control yourself. You have only players who can play, but them are hot-head. They will get yellow card and red card before the game, right? And they will make rash tackle. You have the other player who master control. So not control the ball, no, controlling yourself.
Emotions.
So that's a much different player. You know, that's a much different player from a player who doesn't. So those are the differences that people don't even understand yet, because a lot of coaches in Jamaica is not even accustomed to those other skills that you must teach when you're coaching a team.
All right.
You see where I
All right. So I mean, there's one of the mics giving me some. Let me see if Mr. Speed. I'm not sure which one, but let me see. Once you're going to speak, you open up your mics. So something you said earlier, and I think KS is saying something different. He says, I disagree with that sentiment. They are not, so let me just read this and then say something. They are not, which is he's suggesting that Jamaican, probably players in the Caribbean, let's use that generally, they are tactically, technically, strategically, etc. Because if they were, we would migrate more players to the higher level leagues. All right. Now, let me say this. When it comes on to controlling and passing the football, generally across nations, most players who play football are at the same level. These are some of the basic skills. So, and most players who are professional, when it comes on to passing, controlling, heading, and those things, it's the distance is not miles apart. But when you apply other things, like you're saying, the concentration or the tactical, or being able to do it under pressure, those are the things that makes a difference. So what I would say, KS, is that why some players from like a Jamaica or a Trinidad don't make it to the big markets in Europe, though they can control the ball just as well, is that when some of those players are put in under pressure where it requires greater level of what Mr. Speed is saying, which is concentration, when they are supposed to make a pass that is not just based on your technical skill, but to be able to make the right decision tactically, they fail. So it is possible that the players could be able to control just as good and pass, but their ability to concentrate for long periods of time is not good. But they will still control the ball.
So what happens is, management, if you're supposed to make the right decisions, this is what professional players do. If you're supposed to make the right decision 10 times in a game, the better players will make the right decision 9 times. A Jamaican player will probably make the right decision 2 times because the other 8 times, you know, he might try something different. And I say, coach, may I try something different? Why are you trying anything different? Just do what's best for the team all the time. So these are the differences that we have. Why you have some players make so much money because they are able to do. So you'll find Jamaican players scoring a brilliant goal once every 2 years. Brilliant, flash of brilliance. And that's exactly what it is, a flash of brilliance. You find an ex-pro player, him can do it 9, 10 times, 9 times out of 10. That's what him going to do 9 times out of 10. Calm. If you notice world trends, countries are not taking a lot of shots now after the goal, They must select, they must wait patiently to get a better shot. So what is that? It's because the coach told those players, don't just kick the ball if you're not in control or you don't think you have a good chance of scoring. Make sure, otherwise just keep possession. So those players are able to concentrate and say, okay, me not have a good shot here. Let me pass it back. Let me keep possession. And then wait till them have a good shot, have a good opportunity to score before them take the shot. So concentration, as I say, control, confidence come with repetition. When most of I see teams play a game Saturday and then come a training Sunday and the coach run them the whole 90 minutes again. Just a run. I mean, I know running is important, but you know, think repetition of trying to pass and control and shoot is much more a time better spent. Or then come and play a squad match for 90 minutes. When you play a squad match for 90 minutes, man, you might touch the ball 30 times. Just imagine if you juggle for 250, you can juggle 250 in 5 minutes, or play some like a passing game where you pass the ball 500 times for the evening. Who is going to get better? So all of those things
I'm going to give because I think Cranky is asking this question. I believe that there are players who play in the English Premier League who cannot control a football as good as Tariq McGee.
We see them every year.
Listen, Cranky, I put it to you that there are players who play in the English Premier League who cannot control the football as good as Tariq McGee. But there are so many other aspects of Tariq McGee that they are way behind. So if the game, for example, if a footballer, it consists of 5 components, right? 5. Let's use technical, mental, physical, tactical, and some other. Let's say courage, or bravery, or confidence. McGee could be ahead of them in terms of his ability to control and make a pass, even in a game. All right? But the other 4 aspects of his game, he's not good. He's so far behind them that a coach, because remember how football is, a coach would rather take a player that have those 4 components because he believes over time he can get that player to be able to control. Maybe not to the level of McGee, but close enough. But to get McGee to work in, because it's only one area McGee is good in, it would be hard for him to come up to the level in any period of time because there are 4 areas.
Well, if you look at the game management, let's break it down in possession and out of possession. In possession, is good, brilliant. But out of possession, him not so good. So where a coach are gonna look. A coach who want to play both players who play both way, he must have a problem playing for that coach. And the world is trending towards that more and more every day.
I don't know that much about the player, so I wouldn't comment on the player, but I want to go back a little bit to a couple of things. Management, you were saying that the player could control the ball just as good as any player in the English league, right? But under pressure, it could be problematic.
And his decision making.
Right. So if that's the statement, then I'm saying that under pressure is when it matters, right?
Exactly.
To receive and play and do what you need to do under pressure. But the other part of it, there's a couple of things. And this is where it is about being specific in discussing football, right? So what does the player do? The player has the game insight, the ability of the player to read the game and understand what's going on, the ability of the player to make a decision. But I think what's the most important is the ability of the player to execute the decision, right? Right? I can make a decision about what I want to do with the ball, but I can't get it done, right? That changes the dynamic. The other 2 parts is not important, right? I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but which is what we're saying. But the idea, for example, I don't think the ability, and I've always said this, the ability to pass and control the football for professional players are so far and apart between them. What I believe is that there's other aspect of the football game that even the players who can control the ball and pass the ball, they are not as good as certain players are. The other components. So when we talk about the basic things, controlling, passing, heading, and shooting, say I go at 6%, 6 out of 10, I kick a shot accurately, whether under pressure, however I want to put it. And 4 out of 10 times, 5.5 times out of 10, I do that. So, but that is the only component of the game. I can control pass and I can shoot. But like I said, I don't understand where I'm supposed to be so I can shoot the ball. You know that. So though I can shoot the ball probably just as accurate as you, I don't know how to get in those positions. Not only that, when I get in the positions, there are times when I'm not supposed to shoot, but my footballing IQ is so low that I'm going to shoot. It's going to come off as inaccurate. It's not because I can't shoot, but the IQ, my footballing IQ is so low that, guess what? I shoot instead of pass. I can use me as an example, right? So I had the ability to kick the ball, right foot, left foot, accurate. I would take free kicks. I would control left foot, right foot, and stuff. But there are other areas of my game that I couldn't decide where I wanted to play. So they'll put me at right back, at left back. Sometimes they had me play at center back. And here's what. Sometimes I play at a center back like I am a right back. So I'm caught out of position. It doesn't mean that I cannot control. Well, it means that there's a part of my game that there's a major flaw. My ability to understand the technical nuances of the tactical nuances of the game, the position of the game, understanding the moments. So for me, and this is my opinion, I don't believe that we can say Caribbean players are not as good as controlling the ball as players who play in Europe. Because if they were able to control the ball, they would be in Europe. I can't agree with that. Because controlling, we can all control the ball the same way with the same ability, but you have other components that are better than mine, which is what the discussion is. The discussion was that our players, when it comes down to controlling and passing the ball, heading the ball, shooting the ball, we are comparative. But the other aspects of the game, they are miles ahead of us. That is where the argument is. And then now we are saying, no, because if we could do the controlling and the passing, then obviously we would be going to Europe. But that is just one aspect of it.
Well, another aspect too that is glaring, and I don't know if people don't see it, is the nutrition. Most of our players, I mean, they are able to, they're not able to run for 90 minutes because of nutrition. I mean, most of our players don't want to go to the gym. I may have the same problem. I get some weights and bring them at our camp and them available, and everybody want to work on the weights the first week, and then by the second and third week nobody don't want to lift it anymore. So it's difficult. It's a whole heap of issues make you become a professional player and can do well, and we have to just try and help as much as we can.
We can break down receiving the ball into a lot of different. It could become more complex than just receiving the ball. We can talk about receiving the ball.
Hold on a second. Just don't lose your point. People, I want to apologize to you. Today is Coach Minz's birthday, and I heard that he had a visitation from Jay, and Ray came and checked him a little bit later, so he may have accidentally.
So what about the nephew? The nephew come too?
I don't know what the nephew. So he may have accidentally, Jason Guna, he may have accidentally blocked you or something. But just know, because it is his birthday, just please have some mercy on him. He just had Jay and Ray, and they passed by and they gave him some white liquid. So he's not functioning at full capacity right now. But go ahead, Coach Andre.
Mr. Speed, did you say just now about, or was it just a hypothetical about playing on Sunday and doing fitness on Monday?
Yeah, no, it's not hypothetical. A lot of coaches still do it.
Well, that's a different aspect. That's a different conversation on the whole. That's a different conversation. But in terms of, we can get into detail when it comes to things like receiving the ball. We can talk about receiving to pass, receiving to keep it, receiving to dribble. When we say receiving the ball, we can't just. I think we minimizing it when we don't put it in context, and we got to put it in context. If we could characterize this,
hold on, caller. Just hold on, caller. I'm going to let Andre finish and then I'll pick up with you. All right?
Are we saying that we can do a better job in the Caribbean in developing players? Is that what we're saying?
Oh, Mr. Speed, you hear that question?
He's on mute, I think.
Sorry, go ahead. What was the question?
Are we saying that we can do a better job in the Caribbean?
Peter, not you. Not you, Peter. What was the question? Sorry, go ahead.
Are we saying that we can do a better job in the Caribbean when it comes to developing players all around?
We must do a better job. We're woefully inadequate so far, and that is why the players are behind. We must do a better job. It should be our number one priority to do a better job at developing players.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, Andre, they are saying that the people are saying that you and I are related. So next time you must do the show and I must come off because they would notice that it was me. Carla, you have and then we have a question for Mr. Speed. But Carla, go ahead. I hope they're not investing it in SSL, but we'll get to Mr. Speed on that. But go ahead, go ahead, Carla.
Yeah, but when you talked to a Jamaican coach last night, I think that coach can solve all a Jamaica problem.
A Jamaican coach. Unseen.
Yeah. No, the one in a Scandinavia, man, GT.
Don't remind me, my friend. Go ahead.
Oh, that clean clothes madman, you know.
No, don't. We don't want to. Honestly, I don't want to do that, Carla. So I want to stay clear of that. You understand me? So let's stick to this show because I don't want the dialogue. You understand? It's not healthy for the football. It's not healthy for him. It's not healthy for me. So we don't want to go there, please. So yeah. But what point do you have on today's show, though?
But listen, me, right? The man can solve. The man say him have a higher IQ than all a Jamaica coach. So, and him can solve all of them issue and develop the whole of the Caribbean. You know, so
Yeah, but I mean, a person's opinion. I mean, if he believes that about himself, that's self-confidence, and so you have to give him props or believe in himself. You understand me? What can we say?
That's my take still, you know. So we just no one we have a top coach like that and nobody don't know about him.
Carla, you're really serious though. You Carla. You're really confident that easy. All right, big up yourself, Carla.
All right.
All right.
So go back to the coaching thing.
Yes. And then Brandon is asking, does the JPL or their clubs invest their earnings? But go back to the coaching thing and then come back.
Right. So when we were looking at the countries that made the huge strides, they all invested heavily in coaching education. Heavily. Because if you look on a country like Iceland, right? What they did was, like, I think because they have a lot of indoor facilities, when their school is over at 2 o'clock, they tell the kids, say, look here, all you can go and use the indoor facilities for free between 2 and 4:30, something like that. I don't remember the exact time, but they give them a 2-hour window or a 2.5-hour window to go and use. So even if a set of kids go down to any one of those facilities and play scrimmage, it is most likely that B license or A license coach coaching him. You see the difference? When our youth go anywhere, even a competition that we have in Jamaica,
is no license coach coaching them.
And no license coach coaching.
That is the problem. Which is what Cranky just texted me and said. He says, look no further than coaching. Because the point he's making is that why he believes that in all levels a player in Europe is going to be better is because they have better coaching. You understand me, Andre? He's saying even at the lowest level, that is the point he's making, which is a really good point. Even at the lowest level, the kid that's 15 is exposed to better coaching than even the most talented 15-year-old in Jamaica.
And that is true. And you have to go to even a lower age, but we can't isolate those things by themselves, because facilities will also play a part in that, right? The total environment that they're part of, right? They'll have the best facilities in most cases, or very good facilities. They'll have good quality coaching, and it's a total picture, as opposed to just, well, we have a B license or A license coach. And this goes all the way back down to 8 and 9 years old.
So I was going to say to you, I would give, me and management was with a top coach one night. I won't call a coach name. And somebody was making the point that one of the problems we have is facilities. That is why our players are not good. And I always had that opinion and said, no, that's not the reason.
Yeah.
The truth is, the worse the feel are, is the tighter your technique have to become when you're improving. So when you're young, that is why you have so much Africans technique so good, because if the feel is bad, for you to control the body, technique have to be tighter. So there is a part of your development that playing on a bad field is not bad for you, because just like
Yeah.
part of the development, playing scrimmage with a lot of bigger players who want to hurt you is not a bad idea if you can survive, because if you survive, it starts to teach you a lot of things: decision making, how to protect yourself, how to get out of tight situations, all good skills that you want to use later in life in your game. So by itself, bad fields is not the worst thing, but what you really need is you need to be able to progress to better fields as a football. You're progressing at your football stages, and you don't want to be playing on bad fields in competition because nobody else is doing it. But what we have in Jamaica, a lot of the fields is enough for you in the learning stage. Because remember, the learning stage is 10 by 20 space you need. You don't need like a big field to learn to play the game from that stage come up. So and so the big coach was able to make that point too. And when him said it, I was pleasantly surprised that him said it. Some people were shocked, including management, who were shocked that him said it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
But
let
because
me ask. Can I
yeah,
ask this?
hold on. What the coach was saying, top coach, he said, listen, where he's from as well, they don't have the best surfaces because of condition, but their players control well because where he's from, their best coaches coach at the lowest level. And so that's the
Yes.
point he was making. He says, even with the poor environment, it's not ideal and it shouldn't be. We should always improve in terms of the surfaces. But even with the poor surfaces, if you have your best coaches down there, the kids are going to learn the best technique. He went on to say, so imagine if they can control it and pass it properly on those surfaces, what is going to happen when they get into more ideal. So there is some truth to that. You understand me? There are always different ways, but there is some truth to it. But go ahead, Andre. And I have a coach that just sent in a question to ask you on Mr. Speed. It's a tough one, but I'm going to ask both of you. But go ahead.
So what I was going to ask is, let's just accept what both you and Mr. Speed just said, but let's compare it to what you were saying earlier in terms of what the players are lacking. They're
Yeah.
technically good as we were saying, but they're the game IQ. Is there a relationship there that maybe they're spending time looking at the ball to make sure it don't go right or left to receive it, and they're not able to develop other areas of the game that comes with the decision making and the execution of the decision, the communication, the reading? Because if I'm in a game, I would expect that if a ball is played into me, I have to communicate with my environment. I have to make sure that I know what my options are. Okay. And then I have to make a decision. I have to choose one of those options and I have to execute it. So what the ball is going to do I miss some of the information that's available to me that allow me to make the best decision possible? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you know what, Mr. Let me say this. What I would say, Andre, you're speaking not when you were learning to play. You're speaking after you have learned how to coach. So let me tell you what that means. If I knew now, if I knew then what I know now, I would have been better than I was when I was 13. A lot of the things about body position, about tactical awareness, those things I didn't really learn until I was coming to the end of playing football, which is the issue in Jamaica and probably in some of the places in the Caribbean. Coaching. The coaching is so poor that some of the drills you used to do, they were just drills that other coaches saw other coaches doing, and they did them to get you fit more than to learn how to play a particular way. And so though you were learning things, there was no end game to the learning because
yes.
that's where the football was.
Yes. Yes. So I just want to repeat the whole idea of the bad fields. I never say it's the it's good to play on a bad field, or we must play on bad field. I'm saying it's not your worst problem. That's the
Right.
point I was making. It's not your worst problem, right? That's not your worst problem.
Yeah.
And as somebody said before, a lot of those Serena and Venus, when they were practicing when they were young, is public tennis court them go on in a public court them practice on, they never practice on the best courts. It's public court where their father used to get into fights with people just for them to be able to practice on the courts. And some of the best basketball players them, where they learn to play basketball. Now them and them friend in the hood and people come and say, hold on, it's not the best court, the shiny court where them play NBA and then learn to play. So that's the whole point. Then learn to improvise while them playing on these bad surfaces, get them technique tighter. Them have to run and not careful and not drop down in a some hole. But they learn how to adjust, how to dunk and all of those things based on with the limited resources them have. So I'm saying a bad surface or a bad field is not the worst thing can happen to you. It's better for you to harm with a good coach.
So the coach went on to say to us that in many places in Africa, where the kids that we see coming to Europe, many of them, they learn to control and fully fields
worse than ours
and sandball, but they have high quality coaches coaching them. So it is not like we're saying that we should keep having bad fields. What we are saying that the fields need to improve. But if you have good coaches, they can still maximize the kids' talent and those things. But this, I just got this from the coach. I'm not going to read the first part. He says, he'd love for you to tell the difference between, well, ask them when a team starts in a 4-4-2 and defends on a 5-4-1, where did the original 4-4-2 go? That's how you are. I don't know. That's a coach asking that, and there's a LOL, and it's basically said, okay, since you both are all serious, you unseen. Not me, no, because when I say about YouTube, coach.
I'm out of it too. I'm out of it too, man.
And if any of you in the comment section know, all right, it says, ask them when a team starts in a 4-4-2 and defends on a 5-4-1, where did the original 4-4-2 go? I actually invited this coach, but he's traveling at the moment, so he wasn't able to come on the show. So he's listening on the airplane.
The coach actually know where they go. I mean, all happen is that is really when you're defending, the coach have a system out of possession, and that's all happen. So one of the person who is in the 2 drop back in the 4, and one of the person who is in the 4 drop back in the 5. Simple. Yes. But they know who's supposed to do it based on the position of the ball, etc., etc. You see, when I tell people all at the time, say, I mean, you see what you just say is so profound, If I knew then what I know now, a whole heap of argument would be different, right? And some of the people who still don't know what I know now make the argument just so different. So the truth is, that question I'm able to answer it easy because I know it's out of position what the team does, in a system. And also I also know that I was talking to somebody the other day and they were telling me that, how can you talk about you can't play without a captain? And I had to remind the next top coach that is you taught me, because I always talk to coaches, because everybody can teach you something, The person who believes nobody can teach him something is a stupid person. And you know what the coach taught me?
Unseen. Is you Mr. Speed at your word?
You know what the person taught me? And I had to tell them back in some other words. I said, he taught me that the captain of the football team, because that team sport, is a different person depending on where the ball is. That's what he taught me. He said the captain of the football team is always a different person if you're trying to play high level football, depending on where the ball is. And the captain is usually the person who can see all of the field. They are the one who's able to shout instruction to everybody. So the idea was, don't say this is the captain and finish there. You have to make sure that everybody captain at some point of the game. And somebody taught me that, and you'd be surprised who it is. It is even the person who taught me that. I would say I'm a better coach, but the person taught me something that I didn't know, and that is how football is. And that is how football is, and you learn every day.
Here's this one, right? I mean, people, sorry, you know, if you have an important question, because I want to do this and I may have missed it, the comments are going so quickly. Please just copy it, paste it back in, and say Mannings. I repeat it, so I know that I need to go and get it. All right, please. So just keep on doing that. I see there's a question about Kaim Paris from TikTok, but how do you become a youth coach in Jamaica? At under 12, under 14, under 16, in many of the communities and clubs, I always laugh of that with friends. So, Mr. Speed, how do you become an under 12 coach in Jamaica, under 14 or under 16?
If in a Jamaica, right? If you're playing a league now, like one that run by a parish association, JFF has set down rule that you must follow. So all youth coaches must have a D license, and one of they must be trained in certain topics like developmental youth, how you progress with players, and safeguarding youth. So it's something that we now put in place. Of course, if it's a corner league, we can't do nothing about it. But if it is any youth league in Jamaica, you have to do those particular courses before you're eligible to coach in a recognized league. So that is what
because here's AQ, because AQ play for Wolmer's and Constant Spring, you know. So I know it very well.
But just to answer his question straight, no.
I'm used to follow the team, then start carry the water and be in the physio.
Adrian, you're correct.
The coach then leaves and that guy takes over. Never play a ball or just a look ball in him life.
So you're correct. So when I was the president of Casafa, I went to a game in a inner city, and I know the groundsman for a long time, and I saw the groundsman coaching the youth team. So I was, what is and I hear literally a player stop playing and turn to him and said, "Why you don't just stop talk? From the game start, you just talking through every single player, just call my name. That's like a 15-year-old player, you know." So I made an issue of it, and everybody vexed with me say I shouldn't say that. But it is true. You can't just decide to, because the man fix the field for 20 years and can't coach a team. It's true. So where guys say it's true.
Yeah. A downside to playing on poor fields is that the game is slow. So when our players compete against teams like Mexico that play quicker, we will always finish second.
So if you talk about Mexico, if you draw a line on the equator and line up everybody in the world on the line and run 100 meters, when they running down Jamaica, they are front, whether they play upon a bad field, good field, because we're the fastest people in the world. So it's not the quicker. It must be the quickness of thought you're talking about. It must be the quickness of how you prepare the ball and ready for play it again. It must be quickness. There's a lot of quickness, because running quickness alone, we're there front. So there must be a lot of other quickness. But I'm just saying, nobody's saying that you want to play in a bad field. We're saying that playing in a bad field is not the worst thing. There's much worse thing, like what Armstrong just
poor
said.
Coaching.
That you're not a coach.
Yeah. Poor coaching. What the big point is, for all the people, poor coaching is worse than poor fields.
Yes.
Because listen, the hardest thing is football is to unlearn bad habits. Listen, I got Doc Costa Cup players at my club early. The hardest thing to do, Unseen and Coach Andre, was to have them unlearn some bad practices defensively. So I'd rather have a bad field than a bad coach at the grassroots level. I don't know how you feel about that, Unseen. You haven't been saying.
Funny, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, prefer a bad field more than a coach who don't understand nothing. I can remember one time I am playing Manning Cup, at Ovally. I'm do a run like my mad. Just a run and go there, run go ball and run come back now.
Just to be clear, you actually played?
Of course.
Are you on the bench? Which one?
It's a ball of fear, man. No compare.
I just wanted to make sure.
I'm goalkeeper still,
So the other point to say, management and guess, is that if we sit down and wait on government to fix the fields, them, Bob Marley have a song, I don't want to wait in vain. because that is what is going to happen. So what we have to do is use other methods, improve the clubs, improve the coaching, and make sure so with football improve.
Them say, can't see don't play a game. You are the reserve goalkeeper.
Who said that?
I think the unseen no play a game, and it's a big deal, and he was an overlin man, and him lives up on the team.
Big deal, and big deal. Don't think about football.
Oberlin Anthony to play for.
No,
But
Oberlin
one thing we remember about Oberlin, when them a come to play my team, we are one day for 6 or 8.
I'm not lying. I really think I talk. I'm not lying. We can't say that I true you talk.
But let me take this one. Mr. Speed, do you have any idea why Paris isn't with Dynamo in Turkey? He has been captured. Oh, Jesus. TikTok, what's wrong with you, man? Yeah. So
play 2010 and 2011.
No, man, I'm asking. TikTok is trying to find out why Kaim Paris is not with Dynamo Kiev. You have any word? You have any word on it?
No, I don't know. I can find out.
Yeah, but I'll find out by the end of the day. TikTok and let you know.
Yeah.
All right. Ian Campbell says, I agree that poor coaching is a cancer in our football, but bad field should also be addressed. Yeah, that's what we are saying, you know. The fields need to be upgraded, but until the surfaces are upgraded, what you need to do is get the best coaches available for your kids so that they can learn the correct principles of the game. All right, Coach Andre, anything else you want to ask?
No.
I see someone say, Mr. Speed, what is your ideal or desire for the standard of coaching? How many pro AB would you love to have to make the impact in Jamaica's football? And then, Coach Andre, you can go ahead.
So what I'm working towards right now is this is what I call an elite. For every elite youth and top professional team, top amateur team to be coached by a B license. So every elite youth team, and you know what an elite youth team is? An elite youth team is like a parish team. An elite youth team would be a team like if you had a JPL tier 1 and tier 2 league for both male and female, I would call it an elite youth. Truth is, schoolboy football, there's about 12 elite teams in there, and the rest are amateur teams. I mean, that is why the 12 team always win either Manning Cup or the Costa Cup and the both losers cup. So the truth is, there are some elite teams, so there's like a paradox there. But I would like all those elite teams to have at least a B license coach coaching them. We would want all professional team to have an A license coach coaching them, and all national team to have a pro license coach. So that is the only time I will be satisfied that we have enough coaches in Jamaica to bring we up to world class.
How many pro license coach do we have in the national programs now?
None.
Say one.
Ooh.
One. That is one reason why we struggle, because when we go play against teams with pro license coach, what do you think going to happen? Even with the lesser talent, based on all that we talk about this morning, about the physical and the mental part of the game, even with lesser talent, they will be able to beat us if they have a pro license.
Okay, I see.
So at this time, we have 10 persons finishing up them pro license. We have 57 B license. No, lie. We have 27 B license, 57 C license, and 300 D license. That's what we look like now. And we have about 400 advanced level 1 and 450 advanced level 2. But those kind of phase out. So the 3 license were important would be the C, the B, and the A. I'd want to reach a stage where major league coach have a C license, not even a D license. Major league coach have a C license.
Okay.
If we reach that standard, then I think we're going somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Great. Great discussion.
Man.
Go ahead, Anthony.
So hold on. The pro license is a different license from the A license.
Yep. Yes.
So who will finish up the pro license?
We don't have nobody.
Oh.
We have 10 and finish up then A.
Oh. No, I understand.
The pro license coach is the present head coach is a pro license coach, and I think the female head coach is a pro license coach as well.
No, I don't.
He's not. I thought he was.
Is that A?
He's an A license. Yeah.
And next thing, sir, we want to clear up this. Oh, you get eligible for the C license and stuff like that.
Well, you have to first pass the D, or you have to have a JFF advanced level 2 for you to get to the C license. That's the curriculum.
Okay.
So you must sign up for the C license on the scene, man.
Yeah, in better.
We signed up for last year.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
No.
Yeah, but isn't the schedule out about when the courses are going to be?
I see one for April. I will try.
Yeah, schedule is out.
Hopefully.
Okay. Yeah. Is there any when are we planning on starting like under 17 and under 15 across Jamaica? Or is that in the pipeline? Because I feel like that is
this year.
This year. Will it be parish based or club based?
17 and 20 is club based. 15 and 13 is parish based.
Okay. So by the end of this year, clubs in the Premier League will have to have under 17 and under 20 teams.
They were supposed to have it from last year.
Okay. All right.
But you know how we stay in Jamaica. We say we don't have money. That's probably the biggest excuse we can find. And then the whole public come down and say, where didn't we get money from? But the public still want us to win and go to World Cup. But if we don't lay the foundation public, we ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. All right. So many things coming out, but I've seen one thing: the people them love you and them giving you a very hard time in the comment section. Andre, you have anything else you want to say? How is it in when I think about this? How is the coaching in Trinidad when I hear what is happening? Because the person who runs a lot of the coaching courses, which is Anton Carneal, I think his name, he's actually from Trinidad. So are they also upgrading their coaches in Trinidad and having their best coaches at the lowest level, seeing that they are the ones who teach the course, basically?
Before I try to answer that, I would say one more thing on the field situation. I think we could make it a priority. Not the coaching is the most important thing. I agree, but making the fields a priority, I think, is also important. There's a reason why clubs overseas spend hundreds of millions of dollars in having good facilities for training. So I think we should make that a priority. As far as coaching in Trinidad, yes, I'm not on the ground, but I can speak to the fact that I know that the coaching courses are going on, and I think this is the second or third A license course that just started not too long ago. So that is happening for sure on the island. And the last one was just a few weeks ago, and it was made up of coaches from Trinidad. I know it had coaches from Jamaica and different islands in the Caribbean.
Okay. All right. Sir Speed, do you think the pro teams on the island and the teams that aspire to become pro at a lower level should adapt the academy system to properly develop players?
One is one.
Well, let me see. You think the pro team on island?
One is one.
Yes. Yes, that is a straight yes, because the parishes, and they have done what they can with limited resource, but their leagues usually last for maybe 3 months, in some cases less. The academy setup tend to last for the whole year. So clearly, the academies give better training and more long-term training. And it's not just for people to progress is not just the games that they play, but the training sessions is also very important. So even though the parish will give you a lot more games, it is important for the academies to work in conjunction, and also with our unique situation that we have in Jamaica, the schools, the best athlete would be one that work with the schools, the academy, and the clubs, so that the players can play 12 months for the year. Yes, so I agree with the wicked man, bro.
All right, Unseen, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, let the commenters dealing with somebody.
No, because I know they've just given you a hard time, man. Trinidad has better facilities than most of the Caribbean. How come they aren't producing much better teams and players? That's for you, Andre.
Yeah, I think that's a misunderstanding. I think
Okay.
there's a misunderstanding. If there's just been the schoolboy football played recently, I would advise him to just go and search some of those games and see the quality of the facilities that they were on. And I think he'd realize that that's a misunderstanding of what's taking place there.
Okay. Alex, to your question, Delano's plot is 18. So I am not sure how it's going to work, if he will be able to play, but I know he's 18. Right? Yeah. So this one is saying that instead of starting a U17 and U20 with JPL teams, wouldn't it be better to start a U12 and a U14? There will actually be U12 and U14, but the U12 and the U14 will be done from the parishes, not from the clubs. But the clubs in the JPL will run the U17 and the U20, but there will be an under 13 and an under 15. Right, Mr. Speed?
Yeah, the idea. All right, look here. We recognize that for 4 years since the pandemic, development in the parishes are scarce, right? Is a paper that we did some research and we tabled it at the last board meeting. It's not that we don't know. We know what is happening. So the people at the under 15 level and downwards, they wouldn't have developed properly because of the pandemic. And remember, the government was harsh with us in terms of restart of football. So the only person who start was the schools, but it's just not enough. They play for 2 and 3 months. So our players are behind, and if we don't pick it up quickly, when we try to qualify for the next under 17 tournament, you're going to realize that our players are behind the rest of the Caribbean and the rest of the CONCACAF because everybody came back much earlier than us, and people do get better at rates depending on how much they play. So we have what we call a talent identification project now working in conjunction with FIFA, and I must tell you that they must have been reading our minds, and they are giving us some funding to help, and we have used some of the funding for coaching courses already. They are going to be teaching all the coaches how to identify talent because a lot of us believe we can identify talent, but we would know talent if it hits upon us because some of us believe that, I mean, the breakdown of talent is much more complex than people think. Or, you could see a player that go past everybody and say, okay, he's a talent. Well, that may not be the best talent that you want. I mean, so we're doing that. But a part of the project is also to start an under 14 competition for girls, under 15 for boys, because the next under 17 World Cup campaign for girls is 3 years time, the boys 2 years time, right? So we're going to be having competitions from the parish, then up to under 15. So whether it's 13, 14, or 15, depending on the age. And then we progress. The under 17 tournament is with the professional club, which is the tier 1 and tier 2. So what we're looking at is with a higher level of coaching in that professional league, the parish will identify the talent at that level, ensure that we see all the players. The clubs will now go into the parish and take all the top players that they can find because remember, all private sector people operate. They buy the best things. So they will go in the parish and take out the best ones with higher coaching because every every Premier League coach will have to have a B license next year, and every tier 2 will have to have a C license. So we were trying to progress them up. With the competition between professional clubs, they are going to go all out to make sure that they have proper teams. So we're going to have the under 17 competition and hope to have these players playing in there, and the ones that are national material, not this year, next year. So our players will be 16, and we have the same competition when our players are 17. So what that will do is give them a platform to progress and make us have better national team. So that is what we're working on for the next 2 cycles. So that is why earlier in the conversation we're talking about having these teams in some structured way, school, club, national team, for the next 2 years before they try to qualify for the World Cup. So that is what we're planning to do.
Yeah, and then one of the things I want the people to know, there is some plans afoot to begin to probably extend even with the under 15 for that time. There's plans. I know the federation has some plans to visit possibly 2 locations in the United States just to give Jamaicans in those jurisdictions an opportunity to display their skills before, like I said, the coaches who are able to identify talent to see if there is any that can. So which is, I don't know if we have done stuff like that before where we, but it's good. So those stuff are happening so that if there are
Yeah, we're
kids.
trying to do England too if we can. All our tournaments will be league format. Is they are development tournaments. We're trying to make them as long as possible, not in a knockout tournaments. That
Okay.
those don't help. All the tournaments are going to be league format. Look here, it's the first time we're doing these things in such a concentrated effort. So we'll have issues. Everybody does. But we believe that this is the right track. We're going to be getting expert advice too from persons. We have a consultant which we employed to head up the talent identification project. So we have all of that. We have working with persons from FIFA as we go through the project. So it's really substantial. And as I say, that is the great coach from Arsenal is in charge of the talent identification project, right?
For FIFA.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want the people to walk away believing that he works for the Jamaica Football Federation. Yeah.
He's the one in charge of the project. So I mean, we are doing a lot of research paper for him, telling him about what happened in Jamaica. We have done all of those research and have feedback. FIFA representative actually came here and we met with him about the project. So they have given us some money already. So the project is live. And we just hope it works. We don't have a choice, it have to work. Me personally believe say we can qualify for everything. That's our aim. Jamaica qualify for every World Cup after this. So that's where we are with the project. Real serious project, and there's some money to back it.
Okay. All right. I know you have to run, and we have Stern John. People will come in. We have Stern John coming on at 6:30 Eastern time. At that time, we'll take more questions. But I have to tell you this: that there are 2 teams. We have Trinidad and Tobago is coming to Jamaica on the 3rd, and they have 2 games, I think, against the under 17. I think this is good for both nations because both of them go to the under 17 tournament and they're in 2 different zones. So they will be playing 2 games. I don't know if it's going to be open to the public.
Yes, they are going to be open to the public. Public can come and watch their favorite player. This is really, I can't remember when last we have an international game in Jamaica for the youth. I can't remember, but this is really good stuff. We tried to get another team, but it wasn't possible. But this is really good stuff. It's something that you're going to be seeing a lot more of as we push forward to make sure so our young players are.
What time is the match?
I think it's gonna be 4 and about 5 because we really don't want it to be that expensive either because you know that there's really no much revenue in that. It's just a cost to us.
So it will be at the Captain Horace Burrell Center?
No. It will be at a stadium. Maybe
National Stadium?
Yeah, maybe National Stadium, maybe Sabina Park. We don't tie it down here, but it will be at a stadium where people, yo, you pay a little money and come in and watch a game.
Well, Sir Speed, if me hear clearly, this coach want to mimic situation that he's going into in Guatemala. So the surface that he's going to play on as a track around it. So I want to mimic that, so you know them can get the same feeling as
We have a lot of those. We have one at GC Foster. We have one at Stadium. We have a lot of those.
One in Montego Bay.
Yeah, we have a lot of those.
Okay. So the games will be on the 4th and the 6th of February. You have heard it. And
4th and the 7th.
The 4th and the 7th. And there will be a minimal entrance cost to just help to offset stuff.
Support the team. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is the under 17. Will they be wearing Adidas or Umbro?
I don't know. Calm down, bro.
Okay. So, no, it will not be. I'm very sure that it will not be televised, Brando.
No, I wouldn't say that.
So, Andre, will you be supporting? Will you come in to watch the Trinidad and Tobago under 17 team?
I have no plans to at the moment. It was discussed recently, but I have no plans to at the moment.
You're not coming to spot some talent, you know, so you can bring them back to your team over there in the great SC.
No. I like developing talent.
All right. Listen, any players from Trinidad coming to play in the JPL? The window is closing. Only a few days left.
Yeah, Andre, why can't send me a player?
Say it again.
Send me a player. I need a center half.
You need a center half?
Yeah.
The good center half that I have, they're interested in college.
In what?
In college.
Yeah, that's a problem. But Andre, and that's the right age. I don't want you to tell me about.
I know you like young players. I know you like working with young players.
Player bias, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
When is the window closing?
Next week Tuesday.
Next week Tuesday.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, next week Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, but once you put in a request before the end of the window, it could still go through.
Okay.
Okay. Is there I need to ask again, is there a limit on the amount of players? How many? I think Owen Hill said that there are 11 slots on each JPL team for international players. Is that so?
No. 8 slots.
8. Oh, it's 8. Oh, I see. Okay.
8 slots. I think CARICOM have 6. Something like that.
Okay. All right. Unseen. Anything else from you?
Nothing really, man. Is one. Just want to say it was a good show, an informative one. You know, I think all of us learned something new, especially you.
What? You know what is some people? Hear the joke now. Unseen. What did you learn?
Huh? Learn from you too, man. You know?
No. Who you learn from? You learn a lot.
Yes. So I said I learned from you.
Lot escape, from Saddam, when it was destroyed with brimstone and fire. Tell me tell me what you learned. Tell me something that you learned.
It's a lot.
We learn a lot from you too.
No, I'm asking. No, Unseen. Here's what I'm asking you. I'm not asking who you learned from today on the program. I'm asking.
All right. So, for example, in terms of what we're supposed to do, so we can qualify the teams consistently to work.
What? So tell me. That's what we want to. We want to do a recap.
Fix coaching education.
Okay, it's easy.
Right, and also the terminologies. Get management to understand the terminologies, so that
you're telling me what I
am
supposed to learn.
Players in Sentan would understand when they come to the national camp. Because I'm a big coach, seriously.
Well, the only problem I have with management, when you must say, that was queer, the ball.
The coach made me understand that. We don't need deeper crosses. Too many crosses. Yeah, that's how we work with square. We don't like talk about Jamaica football, talk about crosses.
If we wanna talk about learning, at least if we didn't know before, if we walk away knowing that you cannot play a match on Sunday and do fitness on Monday. If we learned that we'd have done well today.
Some man is now we need to move away from the coaches and we have a run all day.
Oh,
No
Mr.
bar.
Speed. You're Wicked Man Chris saying that, but Wicked Man Chris, so you say you support Tivoli, you're giving Mr. Speed player. He said, Sir Speed, I hope you have your eyes on that Guyanese player from San Diego, you know. Boy, bad, you know, and said he wants to play JPL. Contact him, you know.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll make that call.
there was a Guyanese centre back at San Diego for real.
Good player, man. Good
Where
player.
is he? Maybe he's at Racing or one of those clubs, man. Because it's St. Catherine. Oh, no, it's San Diego. Yeah. All right, so that's it. Listen, there is also a new policy from the GFF. So I'm going to end the show. Listen, gentlemen, if you have to leave, I can release you. So let me just read this, because this is very important. It is what they call the harassment and whistleblower policy. It says the board of the Jamaica Football Federation met on Saturday, January 21st, and in keeping with the commitment to be transparent on relevant matters, the following communicates the major decision made. The board approved the following policies, which complement the procurement policy already approved in December 2022 and submitted to FIFA. Sexual harassment policy, which aims to safeguard employees of both genders from unwanted sexual advances and provides them with guidelines to report incidents. It also explains how we handle complaints and take action against offenders. The JFF aims to provide a safe working environment and prohibit any form of sexual harassment. Hence, any act of sexual harassment or related retaliation against an employee is unacceptable. The policy, therefore, intends to prohibit such occurrences and details the procedure to follow when an employee believes that a violation of the policy has occurred. Making a false complaint of sexual harassment or providing false information regarding a complaint will also be treated as a violation of the policy. Whistleblower policy. To provide a mechanism for all directors, officers, employees, and contractors of the GFF to report and disclose in good faith all improper or illegal conduct which adversely affects this entity or is contrary to the public interest, without fear of punishment or reprisal. The policy is also aimed at facilitating prompt and full investigations into reports which are made in good faith and stipulates the procedure which must be complied with when addressing any complaint which allege acts or attempted acts of interference, intimidation, or reprisal against directors, officers, employees, and contractors who report, disclose, or investigate such acts. Therefore, all directors, officers, employees, and contractors of the JFF are encouraged to adhere to the procedures and guidelines specified in this policy for reporting all allegations of suspected improper or illegal acts. Safeguarding children and young people policy. This policy aims to ensure compliance with the Children or the Child Care and Protection Act 2004 that all children participating in activities and programs organized by the JFF do so in as safe a manner as possible. In additional, it's a lot of things, you know. All right. A lot more. So a lot more. I'm going to give you some more. Wicked Man Chris, let me just pause and say this because we're going to close. Because remember, join us again 6:30 Eastern time when we'll have Stern John on the show, and then I'll finish giving you the second part of this. I'm going to get somebody from Tivoli Gardens on the show on Friday, Wicked Man Chris, so you can get your Tivoli Gardens merchandise to purchase and support TG. You understand me? I'm going to shout up my virgin and tell him to come give us a 10 minutes. I'm going to call him today and make the arrangement. So don't worry. We will get it dealt with. All right. Big up to all of you. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to all the moderators, all the commenters, all the persons who just watch. Again, big up Coach Minzy on his birthday. We have a next subscriber. Her name is Rashida. She works with Beaches Basketball. Happy birthday to you too, Miss Rashida. You understand me? Bless up to everyone in the comment section. I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Speed, to Not Seen Unseen, to Andre for coming on, being a part of the show. Very good one. Listen, stay blessed, stay safe. All right. So, and we will be in touch. Join us again 6:30 this evening when we will be having Mr. Stern John, former Crystal Palace player. You understand me? Trinidad and Tobago player. Big player. You understand me? Lots and lots of teams on Monday. Drop ball final. Crystal Palace. You understand me? Yep. Trinidad and Tobago. Nottingham Forest, Columbus Crew. You understand? So big him up. He will be on the show later this evening. I am Manning's Man. This has been I Am Sure Sports. And when it gets to this point, you know how it goes. We say, we are over and we are OUT out of here.
Boom, check it out. I don't know it's Jason. I'm a represent for I Am Sure Sports. For the latest news and updates, check out I Am Sure Sports. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe and share. Jason representing I Am Sure. I Am Sure Sports.